Now, going over to the culture part of the podcast, you have Twitter X testing a $1 annual fee. Now, it's one of those instances where a lot of the websites are saying it's going to be for everyone. Very similar to the Netflix passwords, I suspect, or the lack of password sharing and the lockdowns. I think it will be eventually. Right now, it's being specifically tested in only a certain markets. Now, it looks like, in terms of the specific markets around the globe, they're currently rolling out in New Zealand and the Philippines, which I think New Zealand is mostly known for the place you don't visit because you could be destroyed by Saruman in The Lord of the Rings, because that's where the Shire is. And the 13 people will remember that or understand that reference from Star Trek. I know you'll appreciate it. I'm kidding. I know it's Lord of the Rings. But nevertheless, right now they're doing it $1 per year. So again, $1 per year. Pretty much everyone could afford that at this point. Again, a dollar is, thanks to the U.S. government, the inflation is ridiculous. I don't want to say it's worthless, but there are very few things of value you can get these days for a dollar. Even the dollar store, if you go to the dollar store, it costs if they round up, $1.09, because of the sales tax they disgustingly put on top of it. Oh, they have to. But nevertheless, they claim that this is going to be, quote, and it's from Elon, the program is, quote, not a profit driver, and he maintains the fee is, quote, the only way to fight robots without blocking real users, unquote. Which, again, I think he's right. If you look at the fools who buy bots for social media, it's akin to taking steroids, I would say, because it helps you out very temporarily, but of course they're not real, so they don't come back for additional views. So there's not much value there unless you want to be bombastic and yell at your friends, hey, I got a couple thousand or a couple million views for this one video. Well, la-di-da, good for you. It really doesn't help long-term growth and development. Nevertheless, there are some millions of people actually who create, develop, and sell, buy. There's a huge community around these bots. And the only reason it makes sense now is because the cost per unit is so low. Now, if all of a sudden the model flips, instead of being free in terms of creating a Twitter account, now it's $1 per user, that industry goes away overnight. Because unless you're a billionaire, I can't imagine someone willing to spend $1 per bot. And again, even if you wanted to spend that, which economically you're not going to get the ROI back from that, but in terms of the engagements, I don't see how it's feasible. Also, depending on what kind of methodologies they use to secure payment, they could tell if it's coming from the same account. So that's another logistics loophole or logistics hoop you'd have to jump through in terms of finding out if you want to make bots for $1 a piece, you have to sell them for more than $1 a piece. That's your cost. And you have to have the cost of development. The cost just explodes the model overnight. And it explodes, actually breaks it into nothing, not as a youth might say, as this is rad, cool, or it explodes. I need to reference Urban Dictionary a little bit more, perhaps, in prep for these videos. Some words mean vastly different things, unfortunately. But nevertheless, it'll be interesting to see. Now, critics are pointing out that they're going to pay nominal fees, going to set up an account, but that's going to be the big detriment of how many people are willing to pay $1 per year. Because there's a lot of things in life where freemium is a huge thing. Look at the App Store on phones. It's one of those instances where overwhelming majority of apps on phones are free because they know people are, I would say cheap and lazy, but cheap and lazy. And convenience is key. As soon as you have to take the effort, and I know if you have a modicum of health or you have a modicum of energy in your life, entering a credit card number, as you know, takes no effort. But for the average person, that could be a burden akin to taking a walk outside. Completely unfathomable for some people. And that is a burden. It's an extra step in the system or extra step to get on the platform. So if all of a sudden they have to start paying for that, what would the adoption rate be? Or what would the drop-off rate be of people who don't do it and they just get kicked off the platform? What happens to all the people who are on Twitter right now but they don't pay that? And it looks like maybe they'll just live in an awkward limbo because they're saying this dollar will allow you to be on the platform, it'll allow you to post as well as reply. So I guess it would be akin to becoming a search engine. So you can go on the platform and you can view, but you couldn't reply to things and you couldn't post anything, which in terms of revenue, it'll be interesting to see how much this affects the company. It certainly is going to help the company become profitable. That's the whole topic in and of itself. But let me know in the comments, do you think decrease the number of total users on the platform? And then will it stop the sea of bots that just ruin every experience? Can't help but reminisce or think of Bud Light, where it seems like a majority of the responses are either bots or people who set up a software to just post for them for the sweepstakes where you could win a case of Bud Light, which subsequently is a great example of how you can be a winner and a loser in real life. It's a fascinating phenomenon. Usually don't have great real life examples of that metaphor, but lo and behold, that's a very articulate real one. So if you're interested, let me know. I'd be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. We're trying to get again to 4,000 subscribers by the end of October, so you can click that button. I greatly appreciate it. Also, don't forget to take the time to comment. Your feedback is greatly appreciated as we want to make the show better and better and better. Also, liking the video is a great way to show support and show that you appreciate the content. And if you think it should be worse, or you probably don't want it to be worse, but nevertheless, if you think it could be improved, give it a downvote. Let me know in the comments what it could do better next time. Also, lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your coworkers, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.